friends, it's me, Andrew, from Andrew Roby Events, where we create weddings and events that you actually want to attend. So today's topic is all about selecting the right photographer for your wedding or for your event. Now, I know that there's so many tips and tricks that may be out there to say, how are you able to select the right vendor for your event or for your wedding? But today I really want to talk about your photographer. Why? Because your photographer is probably the most important vendor that you can actually hire. Why? Because at the end of the day, you don't remember your cake, you don't remember your food, you're not able to keep your bouquet or your flowers for your centerpieces or anything like that. But one thing that you are able to keep are your photos, the memories that are created at your event or at your wedding. And your photographer is the one that is going to capture all of that. But how do you select the proper photographer for your event or for your wedding? The first thing is the easiest thing to do. Is not going on Instagram or Facebook or any other social media handle and looking solely at those platforms thinking that that is your photographer. I know we are inundated by imagery and by videos on social media that really capture our attention, but those are not the end-all be-all when selecting the proper photographer. What you want to do is you want to use Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest as the initial assessment to say, okay, I'm now going to narrow down who my photographer is going to be based off of what I'm seeing here. From there, reach out to your photographer and say, hey, I really love your work, but I want to see more of your work. Of course, we're not going to put out bad photos because that's not going to attract you. So we're going to put out our very best. And so in order for you to see more of it, ask your photographer, hey, could you allow me to see the full gallery of this event or this wedding? And not just one event or wedding, but 2 or 3 full galleries. This allows you to not only see those perfect images that you saw on social media, but it allows you to see the other images from that event or from that wedding. And while you're doing this, you want to see if they're the same quality of images that you saw on social media. If it's not, then that's probably a red flag for you, and there's more of a reason for you not to book that photographer. You want a photographer that has a lot of the images with the same quality across the board. Another thing that you want to do is when you're selecting your photographer, look or even ask your photographer for galleries that is similar to your type of wedding. If you know that you're going to have like a beach wedding and you want to capture a sunset shot, ask for a wedding on a beach that has a sunset shot. If you know that you are going to have an outdoor wedding and you love natural sunlight, pick a wedding photographer that is great at natural sunlight. Opposite is that if you're having your wedding inside or your event inside and there are no windows in most ballrooms, then you want to make sure that you have a photographer that is experienced in lighting. Do they have enough gear to actually light up a room, or are you going to be stuck with a bunch of dark images that you really can't see what's going on? So make sure you ask your photographer for those types of galleries, full galleries at that. Another thing that you want to make sure that you pay attention to when you're looking at these full galleries is you want to look at the expressions on people's faces, especially if you guys are hiring a photographer for your wedding. Look at the expression on the bride and the groom's face. Did the photographer capture those important moments? If it's for an event, did that photographer capture the most important moment of that event? Remember, with photography, you cannot ask a bride or a groom or a VIP at an event to do over. You can't say to your speaker, hey, go back down the stairs, come back upstairs, I want to take, this photo again of you in front of thousands of people. You can't ask the bride and groom to, hey, I want you to toss your bouquet again, or hey, I want you to kiss your fiance again. That does not work. You want to be able to make sure you see those live shots captured by your photographer because you cannot do those over. Additionally, ask your photographer if it's just them. Most weddings could require more than one photographer. If you have a large wedding that's 200, 300 people, it may be in your best interest to ask your photographer, does he or she have a second or even third shooter? You want someone that's going to be dedicated to your key elements. Maybe if you're getting married, to the bride and groom, you have a photographer. And then you have a photographer for all of the guests. Maybe if it's a corporate event, you want to make sure that you have a photographer solely capturing all of your vendors and your VIPs. You want to make sure that they're capable of executing everything that you need them to do. Remember, there are no do-overs when it comes to photography. And when you're looking at these images, you want people to have relaxed faces. You want them to be excited. If you have a photographer that all of their images look like somebody's been caught with like a deer in a headlight, you don't want that photographer. You want people to be smiling and relaxed when they are actually being captured by your photographer. So those are some of the key things that you really need to pay attention to. Of course, there's tons more, but those are the key elements. When you're looking on social media and you believe that you found your perfect photographer, use these simple tips in order to really, really define if this is the photographer that you're going to hire. So that's all that I have. My name is Andrew from Andrew Roby Events, where we create weddings and events that you actually want to attend.